Well, good afternoon. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. And we've got some freezing rain coming down, so I am just stuck at home here watching it all happen. And so I've had a chance to flip through some of my news feeds, and I came across this. And it's from Russia Today. And before I go on, I want to make a little comment about news sources and what I've discovered over the years of researching and going to many different countries, many different news sources, local on the ground, or their own local media, as newspapers, national, international, and that kind of thing. And what I found is that it doesn't matter which country it is, they are more than willing to throw their neighbouring countries under the bus and reveal all kinds of horrible things about their economy or their society or their leaders, whilst completely turning a blind eye to their own situation and their own leaders and the sort of thing that's going on there. Okay, so if you want to find out what's going on in France, look at American media. If you want to find out what's going on in America, look at French media, because they are, like I say, it's the kind of interesting little thing that goes on. And so that's why, even though this is Russia Today, and I don't care what's going, I shouldn't say that, I do care what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, but I've always found RT to be a pretty solid source of information, and they come up with some very interesting stories. And same thing. I take whatever they report on what's going on, I take with a grain of salt, because there is going to be propaganda pouring out from both sides on that particular issue. Okay, so this is about Davos, and the escort services are absolutely booked solid. Okay, there are not enough ladies of the night to go around for all of these rich people. And one of the things that I have been trying to do on this channel basically is to show up the system for the ludicrous notions that it comes up with, and to show up these people for who they really are. They are wolves in sheep's clothing, and they'll stand there in their fine clothes and gowns and drive around in their limousines, go to their balls and galas and so on and so forth. But there is a very dark underside, and it just proves that they are not the moral giants that they make themselves out to be, and they are as prone, in fact, if not more so, because they have the money to engage in this kind of behavior, where you come in contact with this kind of behavior. I think the vast majority of the public are clueless about this kind of stuff. It just doesn't even enter their heads. Maybe it's being more introduced now through Netflix and some of the movies that they put out, which are pretty gruesome actually. But I've never been in a coffee room at work and we've discussed having a kill room at home. You know what I mean? Who does that kind of stuff? Okay, so this is a pretty exclusive area here, and so we'll just go over and read this article, and it is just a reminder that these people are not the pillars of society or morality that they make themselves out to be. Okie dokie, we'll go to the article and we'll come back and I'll do a quick wrap up. Here we go. So this is from RT. Escort agencies booked solid for Davos Forum. Sexual harassment by wealthy men at the WEF is so common that female guests are advised not to attend events alone, an Austrian outlet has reported. The Swiss escort agencies near Davos are already fully booked ahead of this year's World Economic Forum, the elite gathering that brings together heads of state, corporate executives and influential non-profiteers. Austrian outlet Express reported on Sunday, citing a missive reportedly sent from one such agency. In a message to unnamed hospitality staff and published by Express Escort Agency, Sensual Lounge Escort urges readers to book their fine selections of ladies and gentlemen ahead of time to ensure the best possible care and company during the World Economic Forum. Sensual Lounge reportedly offers services for all sexual orientations, and the outlet claims one night with one of their employees costs €2,350, just over $2,500. So, this is for the well-heeled. This is not for your average Joe or reporter going there who is there on a shoestring living in just a regular hotel. The service does not appear to accept cash as payment, offering clients the option of paying with a major credit card or via PayPal. Explaining that the WS annual get-together is high season for Swiss prostitutes, Express revealed the agency set up dedicated websites for the conference. Their roster seemingly fully booked. Sensual Lounge's site has already disappeared as of Monday. While the WEF invited about 2,500 people as accredited delegates this year, over 30,000 more are expected to descend upon the ski resort for the dinners, parties, and, according to a growing body of journalism documenting the dark side of Davos, sex for payment that occurs outside the forum. Sex workers also wait in hotels and bars frequented by guests, according to a 2020 report from the Times UK, and women, even if they are accredited WEF attendees, are routinely harassed by the men who dominate the conclave. Indeed, the event began warning women that year not to go out alone after dark, because if something happens with some big CEO, who is going to be believed, you or them? Prostitution at Davos has caused controversy in years past, though the bigger concern appears to be keeping the working class under control. Interesting choice of words there. Keeping the working class under control. The Swiss army has been authorized to deploy as many as 5,000 troops if needed to provide security to the billionaires. The theme for the 2023's conference, which runs from January 16th to the 20th, is Cooperation in a Fragmented World. Well, there you go. Protesters were already on site ahead of the event's official opening, and Monday denouncing attendees' use of private jets to deliver climate change platitudes and the presence of fossil fuel executives at the supposedly sustainable conscious forum, along with all the hookers. So there you go. There you go. This is who your leaders really are. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, and the thing I find particularly galling about this is these people with these high moral platitudes who are accepting the services of these escort girls. There may be some women who voluntarily choose to go into that profession, but I suspect the vast majority of people engaged in that profession are there because they really don't have a choice. They're either being pimped, or they are financially stressed, they have responsibilities that they can't keep up with, and it is an easily pliable skill, and I suspect that it pays reasonably well. But I don't think that, like, if you had the choice, and if it were me, if I had the choice, I prefer not to take that choice, okay? So these people, these moral pillars of society, so-called, know that these women are not necessarily engaging in this voluntarily, and there's been some leverage, and there could possibly be trafficking involved in this, and they turn a blind eye to that. So these paragons of virtue are just so hypocritical and filled with hubris. It is unbelievable. And I think we need to be continually reminded, because they do such a great job of putting on this show of respectability and honor, and how they hold morality as a high standard, and that they would never, think to engage in that kind of behavior, and then expect us to take them seriously when we find out about this kind of behavior. And I want to chip away at that authority, because these people have no right to have authority, moral or otherwise, to hold judgment over anybody. Not you, not me, not anybody. When you cannot control your own actions, even when you know that it's going to directly hurt somebody else, and is condoning that kind of behaviour, whether it's by silence, by not speaking up about it, or by being involved in it yourself personally. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, they've broken the social contract. We should be able to walk safely around on this planet. This sort of thing should not be happening in the first place. There you go. Please bear this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you see these grand, full of pomp and circumstance parades and galas and shows and so on and so forth, that this is the dark underbelly. And it doesn't matter whether it's Davos or whether it is any of these, Golden Globe Award shows, Oscars, this kind of stuff. The hookers are in town. The hookers are in town because there's a big demand. Okie dokie, well, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Take care. Bye.